So I have put up now 2 videos of this Lore 24 series that I'm working on. So I figured I will do video number 3. This will be week 3, starting with Nequith, a rundown, half-abandoned, often sweltering outpost town on the half-abandoned southern frontier between the lands affiliated with Graves and those affiliated with Dan. 100 or so years ago, farmers tried to start a fruit-growing, started to start fruit-growing plantations in the area, and Nequith became the administrative hub. But the soil turned rancid and blight killed the trees. Wave after wave of illness reading my handwriting. Dismantled, that's not the right word, decimated the population. Recently, Dan has made quiet inroads in the area and has occupied the town. That is actually in the work-in-progress novel that I am writing or working on. The 3rd draft of the segment I'm in right now takes place partially there. Okay, day 16. The Other, sometimes called the Enemy or the First Enemy. The Other or the Others. The Other or the Others were an ancient enemy of the First Folk. The First Folk are a sort of mythological proto-progenitor group to the Una and the Yarrow. They're believed to have been the people or something that birthed the Una and the Yarrow, that maybe fostered their early civilization, and there are ruins all over the world that seem to indicate that there was something that came before the Una and the Yarrow that was not either of them. So that's what the First Folk are. This enemy, the Other, is what they supposedly fought. Some legends claim they came from the realm of madness, that is, the night's sky. Other stories say they came from another world, another Etta being the word for world. Beyond the wall of the world. Okay, from another Etta, beyond the wall of the world. Descriptions of the Other vary vastly, seemingly limited only by the imagination of the teller. Okay. Day 17, Tonara. Far to the east of Graves and north of Dan is the hilly land of Tonara. Covered in a golden scrub and twisted dwarf trees, the land is the grazing territory of nomads. Some of Etta's finest alar, that's a 2-legged reptilian thing that is used as a mount. Some of the Etta's finest alar riders come from this region, and the cloth produced here is prized in many cities. The land is harsh, with sudden chaotic storms and deadly predators. Tonara and its people are romanticized greatly by storytellers in Graves, Dan, Aranum, and beyond, other cities. There seems to be a common thread of ancestor worship that permeates the area, but the specifics are not shared with outsiders. Okay, day 18, house lights, sometimes called, my handwriting's so bad, Powatilik? It's Pomtilic is what I was supposed to say. Pomtilic cones. House lights are cones of glass with reflective material inside. They are used in homes all over Etta and to illuminate houses during daylight hours. They vary in size, are often set upon tables or pillars under skylights or in courtyards and atriums. While there are countless ways people use to spread light around inside, these are some of the most popular. The city of Pomtilic has become a leading manufacturer of the cones, which is why they're sometimes called Pomtilic cones. So the sun is always directly above which means that lighting interior things, when you still want a roof, and you still want some shade, you still want things like that, but lighting the interiors of buildings becomes a little bit of a challenge. And then a lot of times it's using mirrors, reflection, light surfaces that are like at a slight angle so that they brighten up an area. Certainly wall paints and things like that that are designed to make an area brighter are common. There are other means of lighting. So let's see. Day 19, stargazers. It's taboo, almost to the point of biological drive/instinct, to watch the night sky too keenly. Is that even the right word? Anyway, it is widely known to drive people insane. There are some people who transgress. Were they insane first or driven so? Whatever the case, they are quite mad. Stargazers are the necromancers, diabolists, or cannibal cultists of Etta. They are blamed for much. Often people who are hated for whatever reason are accused of being skygazers. At various times in history, covens and cults of skygazers have been uncovered. Their writings, art, etc. are heretical to pretty much any religion or belief. So looking at the night sky is not a good idea, or certainly studying it. Day 20, the Sasha, often described as beings made of light or shadow. The Sasha are devils to some, angels to others. Often connected to revelations of secret knowledge, they are the two-edged sword of progress. Sometimes they come up from the void below, sometimes they have come up from the void below, bringing madness and suffering. Other stories, they come from the sky and bring great knowledge. Yet other stories, often whispered or hidden in locked parts of old libraries, they come from the night's sky and are harbingers of ultimate doom. And day 21, glow globe. The design of glow globes vary quite a bit. Generally, they are small, sealed containers, often made from the intestines of the Bioba, stretched over a small cage made of thin bone or some other rigid substance. Inside, a special mix of water, algae, and nutrient is held. Shaking the globe activates the algae and gives off a glow that can light a room. The quality of both the container and the mix can determine how bright the glow, how long the glow lasts, and indeed how long the glow globe itself might be expected to remain useful. They can also vary in size. Glow globes can be expensive and are easier to get in larger cities. So that brings us to the end of week 3, I can count. And I figured while I'm recording this video, I would just mention a little bit of inspiration for Conquest of the Sphere. I've talked about, I think before, one of the characters that is really important, Baal, who became my sort of eyes to see the world in, originally started out not even intended to be in this Conquest of the Sphere, but it's in a different setting. And she was inspired largely by a piece of art by Brahm, which I unfortunately, I do have somewhere, but I have a piece of art that came from an old calendar. I don't have a book in which it appears. And I honestly have no idea where that is. So I'm going to try to track it down at some point. But in the meantime, there were two pieces by probably my favorite artist, Frank Frazetta. There are two pieces by Frank Frazetta that I find especially capture the mood that I tried, certainly when I started, that I tried to capture while writing stories in this setting. Now, as time has gone on, things have evolved. The novel that I'm working on does not have this vibe, but it is always sort of important for me to go back and think about it. And when I write stories specifically about Baal, it is the feeling that I want to capture. But those two images are, first off, this one here. This is Carson of Venus, the cover from the Edgar Rice Burroughs novel. But you see this essentially naked man in a boat in a giant ocean with this huge beast swimming around. And that image to me captures so much. And part of what I wanted to go for when writing these stories was this a human struggle against vastness. And that human doesn't necessarily actually have to be a human, but it is the personal struggle against things far beyond your normal ability to deal with. And just being small in a giant world. And the second image is actually on the next page, and it's another Burroughs. This is the Mammoth. I think it's Burroughs. Yes. From cover to the book, Back to the Stone Age by Edgar Rice Burroughs. So this is another Frazetta. This is, I don't remember if Back to the Stone Age is Tarzan. No, I don't think so, if he's got blonde hair. I don't know. But anyhow, and this, I think, captures a similar thing. This is, again, a mostly naked man with just a spear facing off against this giant beast. I love that whole sort of vibe. And so those are just two images that were foundational to inspiring the Conquest of the Sphere setting. And I do think that as time has gone on, I have certainly moved away from that, and my concepts of it have evolved and changed, and there's a lot more history that has been mixed up in it, a lot more my own life experiences. I mean, I started working on these stories probably when I was, like 16, 17 years old, I think, when I first started building the world and trying to write some stories about it. And so I am a lot older now. I've gone through a lot more stuff. I've seen a lot more stuff. So it's a different world than it was at that time. Pardon me. Nice hot cup of tea. So I just figured I'd share a couple of inspirational images with you while I was chatting. That's it for me today. I'm not sure what my next video is going to be, but I'll try to keep up with this Lore 24 and see how it goes. If you like that, please, comment below, leave a like, subscribe, any of that sort of thing. But also, if you are at all intrigued in Conquest of the Sphere, I have there's the 4 tales that's available to buy on my Amazon author page. I am, again, currently working on the third draft, a massive rewrite of my work in progress novel. Chapter, I don't know, I think chapter 4 posted recently. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, posting those chapters on as I'm getting them in a more finished state so that people can read, hopefully comment on, and see how it's going. And yeah, that's what I've got for right now. Thanks for checking it out, and take care.